of you. The same things that Wise One used to develop the consciousness that she now has is the same materials available to all of you, you see. The books on your bookshelves are the same books that Wise One used to develop the skills that she now has. What skills are that, you say? Well, let's just say the Wise One is a wonderful miracle worker. How do you become a miracle worker? By understanding what love is, and by realizing that you are it. When you realize that you are love, then you are a miracle worker. So, who are those out there that can help you? We will be calling a few names, and so we apologize ahead of time if you didn't want your name to be called or affiliated with this message. So, if you separate yourself from this message and your name was called in this video, that's all right. And if you're really offended, well, sue us. We look forward to meeting you in court. We'd love to see the look on a judge's face when we are presented with an obstacle, or when Wise One's presented with an obstacle. And the hands of God will be there to remove it. Understand clearly, this will happen. And if all of you believe that the hands of God are there with you, then everything is possible. There is absolutely no impossibilities in this world. None. Let's look at the word impossible, for example. Have you really ever tried to break it down? Try it. The word impossible itself is an illusion, you see. Because if you separate the words I am and possible and abbreviate the I and the M by putting an apostrophe in the center of those two letters, you have I'm possible. If you turn the apostrophe into the letter A, which it should be, then the word impossible turns into I am possible. And you are. Even the mere word impossible is an illusion. It's all about perception, and you all need to learn how to change the way you're perceiving life. If you're not experiencing joy in your life, if you are being unfulfilled in your life, tell yourself, I am possible. So, where did the Wise One learn to do the things that she can? And how will you too? Now, there are some of you right now who are chosen ones. All are called. Few are chosen. But understand clearly, you will not be chosen by God. God doesn't do the choosing. Because in order for God to do the choosing, that would mean that He choose some and leave out others. God doesn't do that. The chosen ones will be chosen by themselves. If you believe you are one, then we tell you that you are. And your role in this world is to teach others to do what you do, or teach others basically how to love themselves. Easier said than done, isn't it? And those of you who've been on this path for quite some time know exactly what we are talking about. If you are walking this path and you're stuck, then the answer is here, because you no longer have to be stuck. Help one another to get past that phase, you see, where you're stagnant. no longer withhold information from one another. You see, the things we are talking about that you all can do are somewhat, as you know them, psychic abilities. However, we don't like using the word psychic anymore because the energy surrounding that word no longer vibrates pretty high. Continue to use it if you may, but the word psychic, when you hear it, you think of specialness and that only special people could be psychic. Some of you don't even believe that psychic abilities exist. But psychic abilities are not just for some or a chosen few. Psychic abilities basically is you having the ability to tap into your own self, know who you are, and when you can do that, then you know everyone else, you see. Wise One walked this path and learned all the things that she learned, only to discover that this isn't a gift. It's not a gift. I have clarity with anyone who comes in front of me, she says, because I know who I am. And because I know who I am, I know who you are. And she will tell you that if you ask. If you learn to know who you are, then you know everyone else. You see, the Christ taught Wise One that there are two lessons he wanted to teach her. One was, know thyself. And the other lesson was, love thy neighbor as thyself. Quite frankly, that's the only two lessons you ever need to study and practice. To know thyself is to love thyself. You see? To love thyself is to know thyself. And when you love thyself, you can love your neighbor. Do not attempt to love your neighbor before you love yourself.